Well, hello again. Oh, it's nice to sit and plant yourself in the ground of being and to really contemplate and to settle in, because it doesn't matter how many times you do this, you still get a little nervous, your personality still gets a little, my tummy gets a little queasy, and Tracey always wants to, our personalities always have these things where we want to impress, we want to shine through, we want to make sure it lands, we want to fill up the sanctuary, we want it to be overflowing, and Spirit always reminds me, that's not your job. You're the whole kit and caboodle is the talk today, but making things get done is not your job. Your job is to do things and to set the tone for Spirit to fill and to vibrate at a certain frequency, so that we are sending out that signal or that beacon that we're ready for all of our needs to be met. And this statement, all of our needs are met, it's a statement that I've been pondering and really thinking about, and sometimes you say things before you believe them, quite honestly. Sometimes you got to say them a lot until the grace of the beloved just marries it into your being, and then you are the needs that are met. And that we all bring ourselves, our highest and true selves, to the party. And we also bring this aspect or this part of us, our personalities that show up here looking and seeking. And one of the things that I recognized that brought me to, Tracey, you're the whole kit and caboodle. And guess what? So are you. I'm pointing. This is a lecture. No. Was that who I am is good enough, because that's how God made me. That there's no mistake that you or I could make that makes you unlovable. People might unlove you from their point of perspective or wounds or challenges, but you yourself are worthy because you were born into the fishbowl of consciousness as an aspect of the beloved. And how would that beloved put you here, test you, call you a sinner, make you think that you're not good enough, and all of these things that we're constantly and diligently trying to overcome? Being the whole kit and caboodle means you're perfect just the way you are. That you make mistakes, and so do I. And that we are still lovable, and that we are still swimming in the fishbowl of consciousness. And as we move through life, we acquire certain habits or conditions or beliefs. Beliefs are an interesting one, because as we seek, what we're really seeking is to look at what we are identifying as a truth for our own life. And that beliefs, the broad one, someone said this morning, I can't remember what it was, things always happen, and I go, Things always happen, but in that connotation, negative things always happen. And that becomes a belief. And we spout these sayings and these things, we spout them off like they're just things that we learned, or we conceptualize, things that happened. And you rarely hear, everything's great and going well as a belief. You very rarely hear that. Because usually it's someone looks at you, especially from our belief, and then you're like, oh, no, but everything's really good. I'm just saying, this is what happened, but everything's really good. And we then deny the discordant fact that we can't turn away from until we've looked at it. And so what I've recognized in my life, that I have been othering God. I have been othering the beloved like it is outside of me, seeking, running, chasing, reading, learning, like I was going to get something out in the world instead of in here in the heart of the beloved. The world is beautiful. because it is a constant mirror. Ernest Holmes says this, that the mirror thinks back the thoughts of the thinker. And I've come to even understand that quote a little bit deeper, that the world is beautiful not because there's magnificence in it, not because there's terror in it, not because we get a new mala, not because the beautiful children represent abundance, not because the roses that bloom out front, but because you are always getting back from the world your core belief and vibration. And I hate that for you, and I love it for you. I hate that for you because sometimes it can really, 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 excuse my words, suck. Because it shows us where we have gone off the path and into the personality trying to get to know God. I realize that I have a really hard time surrendering. And I said recently to my teacher, I don't really think I know what God is. I mean, I think I've been lying for a long time. We know he's not the grandpa. See, you catch it? I know that there's energy. I know that you want me to sit and meditate and my thoughts are running and rolling around in my head and all of these ideas come. And so I know that everything in the world is an object. Everything in the world is an object, and the true ground of being is a subject. The true self, the highest self. And I point here because we go inward and I go, even that is a distortion to me, because what is in here? A heart, lungs, blood. No, what we are pointing at is to the consciousness of being, and that when we recognize that God is not in the world, and that as long as we are seeking, we are othering. But when we lay down the journey, the struggle, which it's hard, okay? It is hard. It's hard for me as a person. It is hard in this job. It is hard at home with family. It is hard. And I recently read a paper by one of my practitioners that was a reflection on death. And it made me recognize you are being itself, and this body is impermanent, and therefore the world and everything in it is impermanent. But we give credence to it like it's real, because all of our senses, our taste, our touch, our hearing, we are constantly bombarded, and we spend more time in the world. And what the goal is to be in the world and to address the things. We are here. Acceptance is number one. Hey, I'm here. I don't know about you, but my spiritual journey in some way, as I was othering God, was looking for a way out. I was looking for enlightenment as a way out, that I wouldn't have to face the anguish and the pain and the suffering that I have been stuffing down for years and years and years, that I know built the core beliefs and the values, and some of them lived as truths that I couldn't even recognize, which, quite frankly, I don't know about you, but I cry in the shower. And sometimes I would just cry and I would think to myself, what in the heck is going on? I've been a good person. I've studied. I became a minister. I mean, what else could I give you? And you know what the voice said? I don't need anything from you. I need nothing. What do you need from me? My grace. Grace. Grace that helps me see the ground of my being. Grace that lifts me up when I think that I have failed. What do you need? Are our needs othering God? Are our needs becoming more important? And when I say our needs, are we focusing so much on our troubles and wanting God to answer them, othering God? And I don't know about you, but when I was young, I remember the lesson, and I think it's in the Bible somewhere. I don't know. But when you, let me see if I can vernacularize this for you. But when, it's kind of like saying, okay, God, prove it to me. You're not getting me in my surrender until you prove to me who you are. And God said, oh, the self, the highest self. There is no sacrifice the sacrifice is silly. You're already everything that you're looking for. You're already perfect, whole, and complete. Not the personality self, not the body mind. And as we talked about death, I recognize, we celebrate when a baby comes into this world, don't we? We all go to the hospital, we bring gifts and toys and joy. And when somebody exits the world, it's the one thing that we're the most afraid of is dying. It's the one thing that God, the beloved, the creator, the thing that I other, showed me you can't surrender because you are afraid that you are wrong about everything, even me. Surrendering is completely giving up the idea that you are wrong. How could you be wrong if I created you? If you were created in the likeness, in the image, you have used your life and the world and your circumstances and you're falling and you're getting up. But take a look at your life and how much you have overcome and stop paying attention to the ways that you have failed and making it mean something about you. It means nothing about you. It means you tried something and guess what? It didn't work. Put your big girl pants on and go do it again. And stop boo-hooing. Okay, a little spot for compassion, self-compassion. But you know, in my days of victimization, I don't know about you, but I've lived a good victim. I wanted the hug. And that's what I saw was in my othering. I would think about God, I think about a warm hug, like a mother's hug. Like that hug you can't get from anybody else but your mom. You can go looking for it in drugs and sex and people and jobs and malas and whatever, but you are really just looking for that hug for the beloved so that you can stop othering and face yourself and go, you know what, I'm not perfect, but this is me. And I had on the paper today, because this is what came out of my contemplation, I remain myself. Not Tracey, that's what makes Tracey good enough. That the self, the beloved, the thing itself that Ernest Holmes is always talking about is that we are not here to remember, we are here to recognize. We are not here to prove to other people we are good enough. We are here to realize that you are good enough before the world, before the first thought, before the birth, after the death, that you are that thing itself, looking for itself, through classes, through study, through church. And you know, I'm so grateful that you're here othering because I get to talk to you about it. But what I want more is for you to be here in community, knowing who you are and bringing that vibration and that consciousness and bringing that upliftment and bringing that totality of who you are and watching the explosion come. And that we don't live from fear or worry. Yeah, you know, I've had my days. You don't think I go home and think about, I wait for the totals on Thursday. I have Dee, the office manager, send me how many was here, how much we got. And that's why I've decided to share this slide with transparency, not just for you, so that I can stop othering. So I can go look at all of our needs being met. Our needs are not just about money. Our needs are not just about people. I don't care if there's one person here. It's a reason for me to show up. Because one person opening up and seeing themselves and remaining themselves changes the whole world, because there is only one, recognized as many. And we are being led around by the nose by our mistakes and our faults and our blaming and our shaming and our you shoulds and you shouldn'ts. And you know what? I don't want that anymore for myself or for you. This is a house that Spirit built. This is a place for you to remember and to recognize that you are not broken. You are not your body. You are not your mind. You are not your thoughts. Actually, the mind doesn't even exist. Show me where it is. Show me. Where is it? You know, I used to point to my brain because that's where all the thoughts, I thought they all rambled from. Nope. Science has proved your thoughts do not come from your brain. Your brain is the computer that needs a command. Your thoughts, accumulative, in Science of Mind we call it the race consciousness. You know, we tap in tune, and then we align vibrationally to the ones of how we feel about ourselves, and then we wonder why they're there. Ooh, where did that one come from? I don't really like that one too much. And then we try to push them away instead of feel them. We have to feel our way to the next level. And it is hard. It is difficult. It is challenging. But we can do hard things. You are here. That's a hard thing. You left a philosophy, for those of you that had them before this, because something felt off. Because something didn't seem quite right. Because you wanted freedom, autonomy. You wanted to know yourself. You wanted to know yourself better. You wanted to know yourself whole and complete. Surrender is not an act. I've tried, believe me, doesn't work. Because when you wake up the next day and the personality's there again, you're like, oh, I don't think I want to surrender today. Surrender is not an act. Surrenderness is of giving yourself back to yourself in a totality of trust and truth. And when you see the absence of something, you see the discordant thought of something, you see something that isn't quite right, it doesn't mean there isn't boundaries and conversations and difficult things and that people are going to be up and they're going to be down. Of course, because that's the nature of the person. I have never been in a community where there isn't discord. Ever. The idea isn't perfection. The idea is you can't hug the world, so hug your neighbor. Be yourself. Tell the truth. Courage is a virtue. Not your truth like you should or you shouldn't, but the truth. I see you. I love you. I don't always understand you. I want to get to know you more. I want to really look at you and see your pain and feel it with you. I want to know more about you than why you are here. I want to understand the depth of your consciousness. You are consciousness, awareness, the subject, seeing everything, creating it as you go. Your reality and my reality are different because I was conditioned differently than you. Tracey personality can't be Beverly personality. But what Tracey personality can do is take a good, long, darn look at herself and ask her what is moving you forward on the path into surrender and what is taking you away from it. And what we do here is we offer classes so that you can look at yourself in a gentle and kind way. But if you aren't gentle and kind to yourself, it isn't going to be gentle and kind. But what a good teacher, a good practitioner, a good minister does is we spot that little discordant thing that you're doing to yourself. And then we try to call you on it a little bit. And then sometimes a little argument will ensue, by the way, because I have fought for my limitations. I've told you, Reverend Cheryl has kept me at IHOP up till 5 in the morning with me fighting with her on why I should be sad. And then I recognize sadness is something that is stored in the body from things that you have believed about yourself that aren't true. Somebody has told you that they're true, and you took it on. Now, you know what I discovered in the 2 weeks of contemplation? I am the peacekeeper. In all of my relationships, the peacekeeper. As a middle child, that multiplies it. But as the peacekeeper, I'm always trying to protect you from your feelings and don't give a crap about mine. And therefore, then I lack integrity and I'm not incongruent with my highest and best self. And that I had to learn that disappointing people isn't a Tracey problem. The Tracey problem is not telling the truth about the current situation and finding a way to do it and not being afraid to do it. And I ask you where in your life that might be happening for you too. Maybe that isn't your problem. Maybe there's something else. But if you're here, you're seeking. If you're seeking, you're othering. And if you want to surrender into the divine and feel your wholeness, that is up to you. And that journey, it is a difficult one, but not an impossible one, because we see beautiful teachers on this planet like Ernest Holmes that are pointing us to the truth. They can't lead us there. They can point, they can show you the map, they can tell you the way, they can tell you what to do. But if you are like me and procrastinate and you want to find a way to do it the easy way, that's what I said to my teacher this week. I was like, he's like, Tracey, you got to do the scientific method. You have to observe yourself. You will not learn anybody. You have been spent your whole life trying to find the people that are good at what you're not good at and letting them do it so you don't have to make a mistake. But the truth is you're always going to be led around by your nose. Who can identify with that? So what you have to do is, if you want liberation, if you want to surrender, if you want to know God as you, you've got to do the work. No more shortcutting. Anybody tell me that taking the easy way actually led to an easy way? No, it doesn't. I've done it time and time and time and time again. I tried to do it all the way through ministerial school by saying that I can't do it. And the truth is, I had to ask myself, do you really want this? That's the question that I will end and leave you with. And this quote that I really want to tie everything together. But the question is do you really want, or what do you want? Why do you come here? What are you hoping for? What do you want to take away from the talk? What uplifts you in the morning? Do you give yourself the 5 minutes, the 10 minutes? Do you do the self-inquiry? Do you look at the core beliefs? Or are you waiting for someone to tap you on the shoulder? Bing, you're awake now. Trust me, I've looked at a lot of teachers trying to find the bing. It doesn't work that way. But what does work is the generosity that you give yourself, the love that you show yourself, and the ways you lack love for yourself is the world that you are creating. And that's what makes the world beautiful, is that it's always reflecting back to you how you treat yourself. And if you don't like the reflection, change the thought. Change the idea. Start to look at the beliefs that you've been living as truth, and broaden your consciousness, grow up the energy scale, and watch the world change, and you don't have to do a darn thing. The world isn't here for you to change. The world is here to reflect back to you how you have transformed. And we, as a philosophy, are here to help you and aid you in doing that by offering. So that's why 2026 is going to be the year of education. We are getting back to our roots, and every quarter we'll be offering a class, and I really encourage you to test your theory for yourself. The journal sheets today are on the scientific method of self-inquiry and getting to some of your core beliefs, and I encourage you to take it all the way to the end to see what pops up for you. And when I was told to do this, and by the way, I've been told for the last 3 years to do it. And when my teacher finally said to me, "Hey, ain't no one doing this for you. You got to do it for yourself." And I finally took him serious, and I saw something, and I started to follow it, and all the feelings came and the suppressed emotions, and man, it was hard. And yes, I cried, but you know how free I felt stepping into me, into myself, into who I am. And I see that in you. And I know it for you. Everything is here for your growth. Some days we'd happily return that beautiful present unopened, yet even in the resistance, something deeper is calling you, and that's what I'm asking you to focus on today. That's what I'm saying to you, for us to stop lying to ourselves. And when the mind stops insisting it's in charge and begins to relax into something deeper, life and even death become easier to bear. Doing nothing often creates the most work in the long run. But I'll reiterate, we can do hard things. We can do hard things together. We were built for this. Not to become better people, but to recognize the being that never needed improvement is who you really are. And so it is. Oh, we're just going to ground that in prayer. We recognize that there's that one being, that one truth, that one essence, the truth of who we are, that we are in its presence. Its presence isn't in us. That it is the answer and the question. It is desire and the fulfillment. It is, so therefore you are. Nothing need to be said after that. But because the mind loves big, flowery explanations, I'll give you one. You are enough. You are enough because the indwelling spirit is who you really are. You are enough beyond all limitations, beyond worlds, beyond objects, because you create the objects. You are the subject itself. As we drop the pretense and we act and move from our being, from our state of awareness, we see how we've been hiding from ourselves, and we step openly into the sun and let it shine on us, knowing that we are good enough. It doesn't matter what anyone said, says, does. The recognition of truth is yours to have. And it lifts you up, and it encourages you, and it fulfills you and tells you you're on the right path by that essence of being and joy. And we follow that as the breadcrumbs, and we leave everything behind. And when life gets difficult, and it does, we step into the truth, and we see that we are living from a discordant lie, that we start to investigate, and we trace it all the way back to its root and pull it up and see that once it is done, that we are growing flowers and pulling weeds, and that we are growing and becoming and loving and joyful. And that's what this community is. It's the embodiment of that. And as we get that, we grow. As we get that, we magnetize. As we get that, we attract. We don't need to go look for anybody. They find us because of who we are. Who are you being in this community is the answer to all of the needs are met. They are met because you know who you are. They are met because we have proclaimed this today. They are met because that is the truth of our being, and we stand on it, and we will not move. We will watch it grow. We will watch it flourish, and we will see, then prove to ourselves that surrender is the givingness of spirit to itself in fulfillment and totality. I claim this, I know it, I am it, and so are you, and I release it into the law. I refuse to pull it back, and I claim it as our own, and so it is.